Good morning. This is Kathy Sipple, and you're here for day 2 of How is Your Social Media Going? Yesterday we looked at a website, and Charlotte Wolf from Prairie Winds Nature Farm was nice enough to volunteer her website as the one that we took a look at. And okay, she's also told me that I've got garlic mustard as my channel art for my YouTube channel, and I'll need to change that. Invasive species. But I do have the video uploaded from yesterday. We've had some contributions, and I'm kind of just loosely saying if I get enough business coming in, doesn't necessarily have to be directly from this, that I want to share these videos. I want to make these videos because they're helpful. So somebody who was on the call yesterday signed up for a 5-hour package. I feel like that's enough to keep my head in the game and tells me this is worth it. So anyway, improving your online presence, part 1 of the video is there from yesterday. So that's how to improve your website and or blog. And today we're going to be launching into Facebook. So I'm going to go ahead and send you guys the playlist here in the chat. And that playlist will be added to over the course of the week. I'll kind of upload more and more files there. Okay, good. So Charlotte is saying very, very helpful, would like to help you market the stuff if we can learn the tools. Awesome. You know what? I'm so glad you said that because we're on the same page. I'm kind of thinking next week I'm going to use a little time to to kind of show you how I'm launching CoThrive, my new website. It's still kind of under baby steps, but I really feel it'll be reveal worthy by next week. It'll still be a toddler. It's not going to be like some full-grown adult website. Well, not adult website in that regard, you know what I mean. But so I created this event just this morning, witnessed the birth of a brand, and I want to talk to you guys about my idea behind it, the decisions that went into choosing the name, the market viability that I did, the research, kind of how I made sure it aligned with my vision and my interest, building a tribe around the brand, and guess what? You're part of that. Launching the online presence, and then lastly, which is to Charlotte's point, how the brand will reward affiliates for helping the brand to grow. So I don't want to just ask you for your help. I actually want to make you, the co-parents of my brand and have you, help reap the rewards. So whether or not you're ultimately interested in the brand I've created, I think you'll come away with it experiencing some tools and having some new ideas how you can, put these things to work for yourself. So, here's a good practice for Facebook. Don't create an event and then not invite anybody. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and invite everybody on this, this call. So there's Roseanne, there's Lisa, and I would say, this one's kind of personal, but I really like to connect with the people that I interact with from a business standpoint. Not everybody does that. Some people really, really like to keep their personal and their, their business separate. But I just find that there's a lot easier interaction to go back and forth when, when you kind of are your brand. Let's put it that way. Okay, so I've only invited 5 right now, but I'm going to be inviting quite a lot more people. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys are not seeing my screen. There we go. Sorry about that. Here. There's my, this is not my pregnant belly. I've never had a child, but it's, royalty-free 123 image, I think. So hopefully you can see that now. And just kind of an aside, I mentioned the physics, or sometimes we're going to get a little spiritual. There's this term that a big hero of mine, Barbara Marx Hubbard, she's a futurist and author of many books, including Conscious Evolution. I think that's the name of the book, first book that I got from her. She calls it supra-sex, and so not super sex, but supra-sex, like kind of above sex or beyond sex. And she said it's kind of a phenomenon for people who have either never birthed a child or have moved beyond their childbearing age, and I kind of fall into both of those camps now. but it's where you birth a project, and that really resonated with me. I love that term, so I'll probably be referring to that next week. If you guys are interested in becoming, godparents to my new brand and how you can be brand ambassadors, please join that event, accept that invitation, and if you can share it, that would be awesome. So anyway, enough about me. I want to start out, before we get into diving into Facebook pages and Facebook stuff, is just sharing some notes that I put together. This was a webinar or a call that I sat in on with Mari Smith. I don't know if you guys have heard of her, but she's she's kind of a Facebook specialist, a social media guru, and she definitely gets paid the big bucks. But she does a lot of free calls, free workshops, and I really consider her to be the expert on all things Facebook. So I try to kind of attend her stuff every now and then. This is already a few months old. This was back at the end of October. But just, a few things about what Facebook is kind of heading into, just big picture stuff. They are doing more with an organization called internet.org, and these things are hyperlinked. Hopefully by now you guys have learned what hyperlinks are. I have, chosen this text. I chose the little chain link thing, and I linked it to the underlying story or resource that is, that this thing references. And I just sent you in the chat area a link to this document, which is a Google Drive document. So I'm kind of trying to expose you to a lot of different, tools and tips, not just the topic at hand, which is Facebook, but here's another thing. We're reviewing hyperlinks, and then also if you've never used Google Drive or Google Docs, it's a really handy way to just kind of take notes online in the cloud, have it stored, and also be able to to share it with people. So what I did was, downloaded Google Drive on my screen first of all, and then just chose File, New. It looks just kind of like Word. Except the good news is this is totally free. So you can do a Word doc, an Excel type spreadsheet. A presentation is very much like PowerPoint. And then, forms I think we briefly touched on the other day. Okay, and then once I'm done, I can either let anybody with the link share this. So I got the shareable link, copied the link, and put that in the chat area. So in any case, you can click on that and you can drill down and get further information on any of these things that you'd like to explore further. And that's great. I'm seeing you guys are kind of taking a look at it. I see 3 people have already accessed the file, so that's great. Wonderful. So internet.org, that's really about getting Facebook and the internet into the hands of people in third world countries, that kind of thing. Facebook in China. Probably there's a revenue or a market desire underlying that, and I believe Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, I think he's married. I want to say, is he married to a woman who's from China? I'm not sure, but anyway, there's some connection to China. I think he's even learned to speak Mandarin. They've purchased this Oculus Rift software. Or equipment that kind of allows virtual reality into gaming, or who knows what all. It's just kind of all kinds of different things. So I just kind of plant the seeds there so that Facebook, it's not a static thing. There are definitely all kinds of new things coming in and out all the time, and that's what I really hope to add here for your value, is staying on top of some of these trends, summarizing it for you, and giving you the things I think are probably most relevant. So with Facebook trends that I want to just overview before we get into what's good, what's working well on Facebook, are some of the things that Facebook is trying to reward people for. So they basically are looking for more video. They see that video is a very good engagement strategy. It keeps eyeballs on the screen. And so we talked about this briefly last week. Facebook is free for us to use. However, when things are free, basically you probably are the product. So by us spending time on Facebook, we make it attractive for advertisers to purchase those sponsored stories or sponsored ads that appear, either in our news feed or along the right-hand side of our Facebook page. Okay, so the more they can keep users engaged and staring at the screen on Facebook, the more ads they can sell. All right, so that's kind of what's driving their objectives. It doesn't necessarily make them bad people, but just so you understand what Facebook is trying to accomplish, then you can kind of decide whether or not you want to adapt your own marketing strategy to fit with their objectives. So you might as well know what they're doing and then make that decision, right? Okay, so video is a very big new thing that Facebook is rewarding. They really want to compete with YouTube on that. There was an article here, and I've linked to this as well on the Google Drive doc. Some people are even saying that video is moving away from YouTube. They also are careful to say, don't put all of your social media eggs in one basket. There's really no need to bail from YouTube, but maybe you want to do more within Facebook. Native links getting higher priority. We covered this briefly a couple weeks ago, but I think it's probably worth going into for those of you who were not here at the very beginning. This is next week's series, so I'm going to go ahead and invite you, anybody that's arrived since we started. We're going to be birthing my brand, CoThrive, next week, and you'll kind of get to see the behind-the-scenes thing. Some of you have probably been seeing what's going on with it anyway, but I'm going to use this to demo what a native link is. Okay, we've talked a number of times now about URL, and that's just fancy name for web address that's up in your address bar. I'm going to go ahead and copy this URL for the Facebook event that I just created this morning, and I am going to share that on my Social Media Coaches page. Now I could have just done share. I could have done a lot of things, but I just want to demonstrate native links for you. So native links means I take the link that I now have in my short-term memory and I paste it. Okay, and now you can see that once I hit paste, and by the way, I just do Control-C to copy and Control-V to paste. That's just my little preference. I like to do those keyboard commands because I can do them quickly. What you can do, and Facebook would actually like for you to do, is to then delete this link after you've got the picture and the item that have already been pulled in. Okay, they actually want that. That's what's called a native link. You can then give it some context by saying, typing in some additional verbiage. I hope you can join me next week for the birth of my new project. Let's see. It promises to be exciting and I hope fun. I don't know, whatever. Okay, so then I'll just do post. The reason that Facebook wants you to do those native links, and again, let me just demo native link one more time. It's pasting in this really long, messy link, and then it's just simply getting rid of it and typing the rest of your message. The reason that they want you to do that is because there's no way that advertisers or marketers or whoever is using Facebook can do a bait and switch. I don't know if you've ever heard of, I should have looked this up ahead of time, Rickrolling. I mean, this was a phenomenon that was happening years ago, like 6 or more years ago. It was basically a phenomenon where people would embed the link to the video, Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up, never, it's like that song from, I don't know how many years ago, 87. So it's a meme, it's a bait and switch kind of thing. So you could put in a hyperlink that seems relevant to whatever, is in context and they're talking about, but when somebody clicks on it, they unsuspectingly get to this Rick Astley video. So when that happens to you, you were being Rickrolled, okay? So kind of a funny joke, whatever, but you know, advertisers and Facebook, they basically want to keep people away from baiting and switching. It just makes a better user experience when people know what they're going to get, and by, you know, pulling in the verbiage here, you know exactly what it is. There's no opportunity to do that kind of bait and switch. And plus it just looks better. You know, you don't have all that messy looking link there. All right, so that's what we mean by native links. And again, for anybody who arrived after we started, let me just go ahead and share this link with you one more time. I am just sharing some Facebook best practices that came from Mari Smith, a webinar that I sat in on with her back at the end of last October. So these are some changes that Facebook may have made since the last time you heard about, you know, what was going on. Basically, videos are a bigger deal. Native links get higher priority. Business pages, they're really trying to get more people to actually post less content, which might sound, you know, counterintuitive. They would like for people to put together higher value content and just less stuff, because the sheer volume of content that's produced every day, every week, every, you know, month, every year on Facebook, it's a lot, you know, and it's probably just to satisfy their server needs. It's going to be less taxing for them, but also back to the user experience. If it's quality more than quantity, they feel that they're going to keep more people engaged. And so looking at vanity metrics, and they call it PTAT, people talking about this. People talking about this is something that you can access in the Insights tab. For anybody that's got a Facebook page, this will likely be a familiar spot. If you're not an admin on a Facebook page, well, you can be if you have a brand, and if you do have a brand, you definitely should be. But what they're getting away from is people talking about this and breaking it down into more, what was your reach, what number of clicks did you have, how many likes, comments, and shares did you have. So they really want, you know, advertisers to take, okay, I'm hearing from one person that my talking keeps getting interrupted. Is anybody else having issues? If somebody else can confirm that for me, I'll see what I can do to change the setup. Otherwise, it might just be, okay, somebody else is saying no issues, so it might be on your end, Nancy. Okay, so down here, we've got a look at the panel where we can see what types of conversations have gotten the most reach and have gotten the most engagement. So Facebook would like you, again, to do fewer, but to do the things where you get more engagement. So reach, for those of you that may or may not know, reach just means how many people actually viewed the specific piece of content. Organic means you reached people through natural methods, by tagging, by people just naturally being curious and liking, commenting, seeing it from shares. And paid means what you'd probably think it means, is if you boost the post. If you boost the post, you're going to reach more people. Or if you do an ad, you know, an ad campaign, then you can obviously reach more people. So that reach would fall into the paid category, and that's certainly something that, you know, Facebook would like to see more people doing, is the paid category. And then engagement, you know, so engagement, you're going to get post clicks and then likes, comments, shares. So this is a good feedback mechanism to look back every so often and say, what did I do that people really seem to like, and what worked? Okay, so this was one that I just wrote last night, and I think some of you were kind enough to even give me feedback on it, and so I'm tipping my hand as to what the birth of the project might be that I'm going to be talking about next week. It's, you know, my site CoThrive, and I put up 3 different logo options. These are kind of rough concepts at this point. And I just asked the question. I said, hey, here's what I'm doing. You know, can you weigh in? Can you, you know, give me your thoughts on this? And sure enough, you know, many of you did, and that was really, really great. So people liked it, they shared it, they commented, and the other thing that I did to get that little party started was I first created the piece of content on my business page, which is still my social media coach. It may be branded CoThrive at some point. Let's see, let me get back to the page. So I created it here first, and this is a little trick that we've talked about in prior weeks. If you start it here and then share, what you can do is share it on your personal page, and Facebook does not really clamp down as much on your personal page. They are kind of tightening up on the traffic that sees your business stuff organically tighter and tighter and tighter all the time, because they want people to hit that boost post option, and get it out to, people via the paid rather than organic. But what I did was I did this little pull down menu, and I've got several different Facebook pages that I'm administrator for, but what I wanted to do is just go to the pull down menu and say, hey, I want to share this as Kathy Sipple, just myself. So that's generally going to be the first option for you. If I do that and then hit share, I've got the option to share on my own timeline. I can share in a page that I manage, in a group, all kinds of different things. So the first thing I did was to share on my own timeline, and let's just take a look at how that worked. That's really where I got most of the interaction. Yeah, I was playing games this morning. You got to just check out and have some mind candy for a while. Okay, so here we go. Let's get down here. Okay, so I just kind of repeated a little bit of the verbiage from the, what I wrote on my page. I referenced my business page, and then in the comments area, I actually tagged probably almost everybody on this call. I said, hey, can I have your thoughts? And here's some more when I kind of thought of the next wave of people that I wanted to involve. So tagging people, this is a really good way to kind of get their eyeballs on it if they don't happen to just, naturally notice it in your stream. And the way to do that, again, I think probably most people on the call know how to do this, but let's just see. I don't know if I included my dear dad. I think I included my mom, but you too. Okay, so what I did there was I just typed the @ symbol and then started typing, a name. Okay, so if I start typing a name, then you can just choose from that list and they will be notified. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. And, the more you can draw people into your conversation and kind of cross-pollinate between business and personal, it's going to help get you more, more views, more exposure. So let's go back to Mari Smith's notes once again. She's talking about business pages containing more personal and personalized content, really talking to people, more humanized, instead of just, being a broadcaster and saying, hey, here's what I'm doing, just, drop it and run. It's more about storytelling, more, even selfies, kind of activating your employees, getting them to create content on behalf of your brand so that it's more people telling the story of you. For those of us that just have one person, that can be a little tough, but you can still tag your clients. You can, give them a shout out. And I do try to walk my own talk. I don't always do it perfectly. But yesterday we had office hours for the members of CoThrive. Whoops. My social media coach. It was, I think, the third time we've done it now, and it was great. Charlotte was there. A couple other people were there. Mari and Dot from Luxwagon. So what I did was, great to have. Again, they're tagged at Prairie Winds Nature Farm. Dot from at Luxwagon, so that highlighted her brand, and then Mari from at Alive and Well Health and Wellness. So what this does is a couple of things. It, alerts my clientele or my potential target audience to the fact that I'm working with these people, so it makes me look good because I like working with sustainable farmers and mobile fashion wagons and, health and wellness coaches. That makes me look good, and then it also does the favor of introducing them to one another, because during our time together, people aren't necessarily taking notes or, I got to just say bye to my husband. Every day he leaves right in the middle of my webinar. Goodbye, honey. This happens every day. This is day 22 of me doing this, and I kind of miss that little ritual. But anyway, so doing this kind of helps generate some buzz for them potentially. And I think I got Murray fired up because I think she only had maybe 70-something likes yesterday during our time together. I don't know if you recall, Charlotte, how many she had, but she was at 166. She's at 166 by today. She was kind of getting a little bit into it last night by saying, hey, I'm almost at 100. Who's going to be my 100th? And so, just by putting that intention into it and being engaging, you can see that you can really get results pretty quickly. I think she had just thought, oh, you put it up and it just takes care of itself. But she really stepped up and she started getting things done, which I just love. So I think that's great. And even here, mark your calendars and I will remind you when it gets a little closer. She's kind of inviting people to her event, but she's kind of humanizing it by saying, hey, here's what I'm going to do for you. I just feel a different energy in what she started doing over the last day, and I like that. I think that she's been using hashtags here. Now, one thing I would like for her to do is to delete this link because this is an example of a non-native link. Facebook would rather not see this link here. But, not bad. It's not like it's totally wrong or anything, right? Here, see you Tuesday at Roots, what I would love to see is just an @ symbol there. What I mean, again, is just typing in @ before you start typing Roots Organic Juice Cafe. I kind of know where that is because it's Roots, plural. There we go. Okay, because I live in this area, but, why not just have this be a hyperlink? People can drill down, into the event, and then they're going to see where it is. That's fine. But, just really minor little things. And once you start getting in the hang of knowing how to do it, then you're going to have that be your go-to method. And, why not just adopt that best practice? It's going to, help you get your stuff seen. So maybe Mari's going to get a few little tips, but I think, she's really doing well. She's utilizing her tabs up here at the top. About is kind of, it is what it is. You don't get to really move that around too much. But she's used her tab here is, I think, in a good way. Gut Guide 101 Gift. This is a book that she wrote that debuted back in October. And she's got this hooked to her MailChimp, and it's set up to be an autoresponder. Okay, so if anybody fills out this form, they're going to get for free the first chapter of her book, or the first 2 chapters of her book, and some different bonuses that she's offering. So instead of just saying join my email list, she's kind of taking it one step further, showing them the picture of the book, and then there's a link. If you just know that you want to go get it on Amazon, you can do that. If you want to read that chapter, you can get that for free. Events, she does a fair number of events, so she's utilizing that. And then under more, I think I'm seeing this because I'm still a administrator on her account. But you can manage these tabs, and you don't have to keep them in the order that they're presented here. If you hit Manage Tabs, you can drag them around and change it, but I'm not going to do that. I think she's got that going pretty well. She's got a nice image that goes along with her theme and with her her event, so I think that all really makes sense. So good job, Murray. Great growth overnight. Really, really cool. So let's take a look at Charlotte's, and that is Prairie Winds Nature Farm. Again, we can do a couple of these. We've still got 30 minutes left today, so if anybody else wants a review of theirs, just let me know in the queue, and we'll add yours. Okay. So Charlotte's got, I think, a nice image here. If you didn't know that she did kids camps, I don't know if that totally ties together, but that was kind of the best image that we could find back last spring when we were starting to kind of promote her page. Roseanne, let me know which page that is. If you could send me your Facebook link to the page, that would be great, and I'll do that. And then she's got, her logo here. I know she's got a logo that's kind of a pen and ink, more black and white, but this is, obviously a picture of her actual sign, which I think is kind of nice. I think it looks a little bit more, nature-y, and I like it. So the only thing I might do is add a little bit of text up here, and we learned a tool a couple weeks ago called Canva.com. There's also Share as Image, GIMP.com, that stands for Graphic Image Manipulation Program, is another one. I think that's a really unfortunate acronym, but it does work very well. It's free, and it's kind of like Adobe Photoshop, but it's just totally available online for free download. So you can do what I'm about to show you in whatever method you like. I think Canva is a pretty easy way to do it. You can just go to Facebook cover. The dimensions are all going to be totally perfect for what you want to do. And let's just take her picture for an example. Now this is kind of a pet peeve of mine, is if somebody says, can you email me your logo, or can you email me your image? If I've already got it on Facebook, I just feel like most people hopefully should know how to do this by now. You can right-click on an image and do Save Image As, and I'm just going to call it, Prairie Winds Kids or something like that, okay? All right, so let's just do Save. You got to remember where you saved it. I'm going to just save it to desktop for now, make it really easy. And I'm going to go over here to Untitled Design, and we'll do, we're going to, let's see, upload an image. Upload your own image. Okay, I saved it to desktop. I called it Prairie Kids. I'm not going to totally do this for you, Charlotte, but I'm going to get you started and show you what I mean. Okay, so let's just bring this over here. It's, again, perfectly sized for Facebook, so you're not going to have to guess, hey, is this going to fit, or will this be resized? This whole, the purpose of this program is just for this. So what I would probably do is, keep your image as it is, but then maybe add some text. Like you could just drag a little bit of text over here. You can choose the one that looks kind of closest to what what you've already got going on, or what you want it to end up to be. But you can change the color, you can change the style. This is not necessarily the best one, but I can change this to something just black. I could change this red to blue, or whatever I want. And again, this is not going to be perfect. I just want to show you the way to do it, and then invite you to make your own changes. But let's just say farm camp, CSA. Yeah, this really does not look good. Whatever else that you've got, okay? And then you can make this thing smaller. I would, probably not, again, go with this text box. You could definitely do something a little different. You can go to design school here at Canva.com and learn, some better design tools and the how-tos and that kind of thing. But this Canva.com is totally free. And I think just by adding a little bit of text to what you've got, it makes it more of a header. It conveys more information. You do want to make sure that you don't put too much text in there, however, because Facebook, let's just see, Facebook limits on text in graphics. I don't know what the current rules are, but yeah, new rules. You can't have more than 20% text in your graphics, okay? And then here, has Facebook quietly dropped the 20% text limit? It changes. Again, it changes all the time. And whether or not that's just for ads or whether that's also for headers now, hard to say. But just to be safe, I would keep it, not more than 20%. You do want to let the image, convey most of the information for you. But just be aware that Facebook does monitor this stuff, and they just don't want a really super text-heavy header. Okay, So I would just update that. I think that would be nice to convey more information. About tab, I think, is really important because that's where people are going to decide in an instant whether or not they want to follow you. So you've got, a fair amount of information here, including the map, so that's good. If you click on the page info, you've got the full info. You've got your hours, you've got your short description. This you probably want to work on. Impressum. This is I wanna. You know what? I don't even remember. What is this? Okay, this is an optional field. Okay, in certain countries such as Austria, Germany, and Switzerland, businesses may be required by law to include a statement of ownership. Okay, we're not those countries. I guess you don't need to worry about that. I think that must be kind of new. At first I thought this was Greek text and that had to be replaced with English, but I don't think that's the case. I think you're fine. You've got your address. That's wonderful. You've got your Facebook web address. That's great. You've claimed a custom URL, so that's great. I would probably go ahead and fill in mission, fill in when you were founded, fill in your products. If you've won any awards, why not take advantage of all of that? If you want to link to your other places on the web, that was something we talked about yesterday, is having your social media be a digital on-ramp, where people can go and find you elsewhere. So if somebody wants to connect with you on LinkedIn, is that easy to do? If they want to connect with you on Instagram or Flipboard or all these new places that you're getting onto, Charlotte, why not go ahead and put those links in here so that they know how else they can find you? So that's a pretty easy fix. Let's see, photos. Again, this is just kind of, this is me. I don't do this, but when I'm, on my own personal Facebook, I try to kind of manage my photos and put pictures of mushrooms together, put pictures of dogs together, put pictures of whatever together, just because, if you've got, like, let's say an event, this is Science Alive 2015, it might be helpful for your visitors to see these photos in an album, so that if your kid was at Science Alive 2015, then I could just kind of look through those, and then I know that I've seen them all, right? And then if later on we're talking about farm camp, and my kid was at farm camp or they weren't, then I can see that, hey, these are the photos that kind of go with that. It's a little bit of extra work, but I think it provides your user with kind of a nicer experience, and lets them feel like they're really flipping through a photo album instead of just dumping a lot of photos in there. So well, good. You do have some photo albums. Okay, good. You're already doing that. I didn't look carefully enough. Good. I think you've got the hang of that one. I would keep doing that. Okay, reviews. Let's see if you've got any reviews. I think that's a great. Okay, good. I know Heather. That's wonderful. And hey, as long as I'm here, I'm going to give you an excellent, even though I don't have kids and I've not been to your camp. I just know you, and I know you do an excellent job. So this is, a quick and easy way that you can give people a review. You can just hit the number of stars, and certainly if anybody felt compelled to do that for my social media coach, hint, 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 I would take that all day long. If you can take the time and write, a little review like Heather has done for Charlotte, then that's, certainly helpful. When people do that for you, it's really nice to acknowledge it the way Charlotte's done. So she's kind of, engaged them. She's taken it, further and didn't just stop by getting the compliment. So way to go, Charlotte, for following up on that. Okay, so you've got your email list. You can manage the tabs. So if you feel like getting people to sign up for your email list would be more helpful than reviews, you can kind of swap that around by just dragging these things. So you do have your MailChimp already kind of connected there. I'm not going to do that for you because I don't want to mess with your stuff. You can always get to these other tabs by just going to the drop-down. That's fine too. Yes, you can add tabs, absolutely. Okay, so Charlotte, you've already got the farm camp signups. This might be something that you'd want to actually add on your Hootsuite every so often, is want to be alerted about farm camp signups. sign up here to be notified when we release the schedule. Okay, that's kind of an evergreen piece of content that you might want to roll with from now through, when registration ends. You can definitely add more tabs by going to Manage Tabs, and then you just click on Add or Remove Tabs. And you can do the maintenance that way. Okay, so events is something that's resident within Facebook. You just have to activate it. Notes, if you want to, if you want to do that, you can. The other ways that you're going to add tabs are generally if you install another app. Okay, so MailChimp, there's an app that creates a tab, and then you kind of have to step through the instructions for that. It's going to be a little too detailed for this, for today, since we're about Facebook, not really apps. But yeah, so you can manage the tabs, you can add them, all that kind of stuff. So let's just look at, since I do happen to be an admin here, let's look at your insights. And again, we're trying to kind of look at where you're getting the most reach and engagement. And if you can kind of explore, what did I do well, what got people engaged, and how can I do more of that? Let's do more of that and less of this, okay? So let's just compare and contrast your post from the 14th, which was Inside Out, Michiana, Science Alive, and then the one that you just did yesterday. Okay, so let's take a look at that and see if we can be sleuths and figure out why people like this. Okay, so we have quite a few standing dead trees in our woods. We only remove those that are in danger of falling down. The life in dead trees. Well, it's a cute squirrel. People love cute squirrels, so that's, that kind of makes sense, right? So I suspect that, you got people's attention because, it's already adorable, and then it's a mother squirrel nursing young. So cute sells, okay? Cute definitely sells. Quick aside, Charlotte, do you recognize this little apps for your email list? This kind of looks like the Luxwagon bird, doesn't it? I have to make sure that was not proprietary. I think I might have gotten my signals mixed up if I was setting up Dot and You on the same day. Interesting. Okay. All right. And then so Inside Out, Michiana, Science Alive. I think why this didn't get a lot of play is because you didn't really add context to the link. You just took the link and pasted it in. You did make it a native link, so props to you for doing that. You got rid of that kind of messy looking link, which is great. But I think what would get more people into it is if you said, Prairie Winds Nature Farm was a proud sponsor of Science Alive, check out our photo album or something like that. It's just like what was the context, what was the engagement. I think you probably could have gotten, okay, and Charlotte says it's a really good blog and I want to acknowledge their mention. That's awesome, but just tell people something. If you even would have just said that before, okay, don't know how. Let me show you exactly how. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to, kind of repost the same thing that you just did. But I got the URL just as you did, and I'm going to paste it here just as you did. It's going to, pull in this information just like you did, and then all I'm going to do is get rid of that link and say, this is a great blog, definitely, worth a read. And you could say something like, we were delighted to be a part of, this annual event that helps kids, connect with nature or whatever. I don't know. I haven't read it, but whatever, context you could give, whatever makes you excited about it, do what you did, but just tell your readers what your connection is to it. That's the only little special sauce I'm going to add, okay? So other than that, I think, you're doing great. You just want to kind of look at activity. You want to look at engagement. Here is activity. You do want to make sure you're checking this out every so often. And, okay, here's yesterday. My social media coach mentioned you. That was quite favorable, but hate to say it, you do need to kind of scan these things to make sure that that they are favorable, and that you're just kind of covering that. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. Overall, great job. I don't see any glaring errors or anything, so I think you're doing just great. Okay, I am going to now check out Roseanne. Okay, well, I tried. Facebook.com, Roseanne. Okay, and Roseanne, I'm wondering if this is your personal. We'll find out when we get here. Huh, all right. Roseanne, do you know why that might not be working? Let me just try searching for you here. Maybe I didn't put on the E. Okay, so I think this is her personal Facebook rather than a business page. So that's cool. I think we'll go through this a little bit more quickly, but we can still talk about how you can integrate your personal Facebook into what you're doing overall. You still want to give people a good way to let people know what you do, right? So work and education, this is a really good way that you can kind of round out your professional self and let people who care to know about that stuff know about it. Okay, so you can add your your work events, and you can even copy and paste some of your LinkedIn stuff. I think it's kind of nice to put high school or college or wherever, just so you can connect more easily with with alumni. That's certainly good. And I would say here, just make sure that you've got as much information as you want and no more. Some people just really want to make sure they don't have too much in the way of personal information. You've got multiple links, and hey, I see you've even got my website. So thank you so much for giving me props in your personal Facebook space. That's really very kind. And you've got your your phone number, so I think that's great. Same thing, photos, they're really for you, but if you want to organize it in some meaningful way, I'd say that can give context. And if you're trying to say, like, hey, here's a new project I'm developing, kind of like I am, you could maybe organize it or gain a little bit of traction there around a brand. You need to kind of skate a fine line, to use your personal for business. Facebook, again, they're trying to get money out of us, right, as business people. So they're kind of trying not to let too much business be done through personal. Now, this I think you'd be totally well within your rights to do, because for all they know, you could work there. For all they know, you could be a participant. I mean, gosh, football teams, are sponsoring this event. So I think that looks great. Let's just take a quick look at your timeline. And again, not knowing exactly what the incentive is here for you, if it's just to share things that you personally find interesting, then obviously you're doing it right because it's whatever you want to do. But if you are trying to build something around another call to action, or to tell why you think this is important, again, you've done the native link things correct, like by getting rid of that long bulky link, but not really having any context of why you're concerned or why this is meaningful for you. So, maybe you want to avoid GMOs and pesticides because of what you've learned as a cancer patient advocate, let's say. Giving it a little bit of context, or hey, oh, that's right, Roseanne knows about this stuff, and that's her, her thing. Okay, and Roseanne does have a custom URL. What I mean by custom URL is, instead of facebook.com/ a bunch of random letters and numbers, she's got her name, which looks really neat and tidy. It's just Roseanne last name. And if you don't have that, here's what you can do to claim your own. You can just type facebook.com/username, and you only have to do this once. You'll go to this kind of special secret page, or it's not really secret, but Facebook doesn't really make it all that well known. I don't think they don't prompt you to choose a custom name. And then you can say, hey, here's the page that I want to name, my social media coach. It already has a username. You can visit it by going here, and then you may change this username once and only once. I never have, and I'm really, boy, this is going to debut next week. I'm going to have to decide if I want to change it to CoThrive, if that's going to be my new brand. I don't really want to keep up two brands. So you can check availability, see what's there, and if it's available, that's how you do that. You can edit the username here. All right, so let's go to Tracy. But yeah, great job, Roseanne. I think you're doing just fine. Okay, and so we've got Trout.0. This is Tracy Trout, who joined us yesterday, and she's kind of making today's video possible too. So thank you for your support, Tracy. I don't know if you knew that's how it was working, but it's basically like as sustainably run as my business is going. That's how much time I feel like I can devote toward processing the videos, time and resources. And Tracy signed up for a package. So Tracy, I'm going to throw in a free 1 month of CoThrive along with the package that you just purchased. So that's like 3 office hours every week where instead of me just presenting on a topic, you can bring like little strategy questions or 5-minute, tips and tricks that you want to go over. And so that's like usually $30 a month. I'm trying to make that as super affordable as possible. So I want to thank you for that. But I know Tracy has recently gone into private consulting. She was working for a couple different nonprofits previously. And so please show her some love over here on Facebook.com, Trout.0. And .0, by the way, is a lowercase o. I first typed in 0, even though it's not O. I think usually when we hear 2.0, it's 2.0 or 3.0, so that it is supposed to be 0. Okay, well you might be able to rename it if you haven't renamed it yet. You can just go to facebook.com/username the way that we just did, and you should be able to change it. You'll only, again, be able to change it once, so you just want to make sure it is what it is, and you've got it the way you want it. Okay, so I see native links going on. This is good. Again, I can tell it's a native link because there's no messy info here, and she's got the photo, she's got the headline. You can tell that it's a hyperlink because when I click on it, it's a little finger. It shows that I'd be able to click on that and get more info. So important report out from Indiana Youth Institute. Great. Important. Partnership for Drug-Free Kids. Okay. One thing I might suggest, and this is just again so that people kind of know that you're sharing their stuff, is to do it a little bit more intentionally. Like Indiana Youth Institute, I don't know for sure if they have a Facebook page. Let's just see. There's nothing wrong with what you've done, but if, let's see, Indiana, I didn't do that right, Indiana Youth Institute. Okay. Well, let's just say I'm not sure this is the right one, but you would need to like their page as your page. And the way you do that, by the way, is to click on this dot, 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 and then just do like as your page. And if you're like me and you're the admin for about 20 million pages, you can, like it as all multiple different pages. So what that does is it kind of, lets this group that you may be a little bit in alignment with know of the existence of Trout.0. Okay, they'll be like, oh, well, who is this Tracy Trout, or who is this page? You could like them both as you and as your page. Charlotte, I think you and I were trying to do this the other day, and for some reason we were having trouble. But this is how it should work: is I come here, I've got, I'm using Facebook as me, which again I can tell because I've got my name and my picture right here. And then if I click dot, 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 that gives me the option to like this page as my page, or whatever the heck page I want. All right, so that would be kind of cool. After that's done, what that will do is it'll kind of connect your two pages. So let's just pretend like I was doing the exact same post you had here, but I would I would instead say important report from the, and then I would put the @ symbol, and then type Indiana, Youth Institute. Okay, I don't know that it's going to come up for me because I haven't, necessarily liked the right page. So here's the one I think we were just on. I could do, period, whatever. I'm not going to do that right now. But I would just use those hyperlinks instead of dropping somebody's name in a way that's just regular text. It's more impactful if you hyperlink it, because then they're going to get a heads up and they'll know that you've been talking about them. Obviously, if it's in a good way, then they're going to perceive that as good because you're helping them with their organic reach. And maybe they'll even do a quid pro quo. Maybe they'll see something that you just posted and turn around and, share your stuff. So, yeah, I mean, the one thing I would kind of say is I'm just seeing like 1 or 2 word, this is a little bit more an interesting article. I bought the book and I'm reading it now. Let me know your thoughts. I like that because it's inviting comment. It's kind of sad when we ask a question and we don't get comments, but maybe you want to seed this with a few friendly people, like stop by office hours and we'll kind of, give you some help to seed your comments to get the conversation started sometimes. That can be helpful. But I would just say, I mean, this is kind of yikes. That probably is sufficient. It is a little bit yikes, okay? I would just say try to put a little bit more of yourself into it and how this piece of content has to do with Trout.0, because if I hear Trout.0, I don't automatically know what that is if I don't know you. So you could say something like Trout.0 works with Dayspring Women's Center to provide yada yada yada, or they're doing great work in the community or whatever. Okay, so Lisa has asked, does putting the @ symbol before a name work differently than just typing in the name and letting it autofill? You know what, that's a great question, and I kind of forget that what I'm telling you is a throwback, and it now works without you having to do that. You're absolutely right, Lisa. I sometimes think it narrows the field a little bit. Like I already can't remember what it was. Indiana Youth. Let's try it and see if it just works without. I just find that it works more methodically every single time, like when I put the @ symbol, but it's supposed to not be needed anymore. Indiana Youth Institute. Let me try that one more time. Indiana Youth Institute. Okay, it should work. That's a great point, because sometimes I get a little bit stuck on the way things used to be. However, I'm typing in Indiana Youth Institute, and I don't think I have any typos, and for whatever reason, I'm not seeing that option come up yet. So maybe it's somewhere down further in the list. If you're having trouble, I would just add the @ symbol and see if that does anything for you. And for whatever reason on this particular thing, it does seem like it's helping. So just know that that's there. You shouldn't need it. I think it's supposed to be working without it, but sometimes I still find that prompt helps a little bit. So I know we're right at 8 o'clock. I hope that was helpful for you. It was a little bit of a whirlwind tour. Again, there's no exact right or wrong way to do this stuff. It's kind of what's working. So as individuals, we don't have an Insights tab, but for business pages, we do. And I would say go to your Insights tab and see what the wisdom of the crowds is telling you. What did people like? What did people engage with? Did people like cute scrolls? Did people like voting on your logo? Did the one link update that wasn't tagged or wasn't elaborated upon, did that not get so many likes or whatever? Well, if that's the case, then see how you can soup that up. You could either go back and tag people. You could say, like, @KathySipple, I thought of you when I posted this, wanted to make sure you saw it. Then people feel like they were specially invited over to take a look at your stuff, I think there's something in it. Again, make it more person-to-person instead of just being a broadcaster. Okay, Charlotte is saying she did not get the Mari Smith file. Let me go ahead and I'm going to share this link one more time. Charlotte, where I'm sharing this is in the chat window. So I'm sending to all. You need to check the chat window and just copy that link. And I'll send out an email follow-up again, since I really appreciate the support I'm getting from you guys. Multiple people on this call have hired me outside of this, and it's really great to be working with you on a more regular basis. I really truly want all of you to succeed in whatever it is that you're doing, in whatever level we can work together. I enjoy it, appreciate it, and appreciate you. So thank you. Go forth and do great things. Tomorrow we're going to be talking Twitter. So if anybody's got a Twitter account that they would like me to check out, I'll be happy to do that, or I will just bring up some examples that I think will be good. So again, see you back here tomorrow. Take care.